When we wake up in the morning, there's 100 things which could probably disrupt our way of getting to flow state. So one of the crucial things what I do, for example, every morning is I don't pick up my phone for the next couple of hours. So as you can see here, I don't have my phone here, and the only thing what I would have in this bedroom is my iPad for reading in the evening. That's the only thing that when I'm getting tired while reading, I don't need to get out and get awake again. So that's the only thing what I have in the morning, for example, next to my bed, but nothing else. And I don't also touch my phone in the first minute because I know that it will destroy my brain waves, and afterwards I can concentrate less good. So the best thing what I learned in the last couple of years is to not touch my phone in the first couple of hours when I wake up. And this helped me tremendously to get into the flow state. As also Ryan Doris is saying, he said that mostly when you wake up the first minute, get into work, do something, because that's the easiest way to get into this flow state because your brain waves are the closest to flow state, which kind of is true because the brain waves from flow state are similar to the brain waves while sleeping. So it makes sense if you combine these together that it's kind of like, like let's take an easier example. We have the same brain, we have a wave, it goes like that. And that's like the sleeping brain wave, or like let's say like that, like a small wave. And it's the same with the flow brainwave. It's like that. If you watch TikTok or anything else, the brainwave is like that. So it's really hard for this crazy brainwave like that to get into this brainwave like that again. Understand? So it is really crucial to not get your phone in the morning and do something else. So the second most important thing is after waking up is getting some sunlight. So when we want to get into flow, it is really important to get something what boosts us in the morning, something in general what motivates us. And sunlight in general, also as Anna Huberman is saying, is one of the best things. For example, the last time we didn't have any sun, and I felt less productive and less concentrated when I don't get my sunlight in the morning. So, in my opinion, and also from a lot of statistics or like researchers saying that sunlight viewing in the morning is so crucial, so important. And seriously, in my experiences, I can totally agree with that. And I feel like I really need the sunlight in the morning to become a bit more productive. So I can totally understand why people live in places like Los Angeles or something, because there's so much sunlight and you just feel better and you just feel more motivated. When you wake up, you get to your sunlight and then you start working and everything kind of like shifts. And yeah, no, if I would open the window, it would be higher, but it's pretty cold outside because we still have winter. But it's mostly enough when we're just looking at the sun from here and just getting this brightness is mostly enough already to keep me motivated and to feel more engaged in the morning. So after waking up, doing sunlight viewing, I mostly indulge into reading a book. And that's on my iPad, as I said before, because it is so boring, it is so simple that it's actually the perfect thing to do before starting to work. Because everything else, if you go for a run, for example, um, for example, I realize when I go for a run, if I go to the gym, everything it's already too much. So I try to really keep it as boring as possible until my first coffee, so I can extend the brain waves I have from waking up, try not to disrupt them, and keep them in on this stage until I get my first coffee to trigger flow easily. And so far, this helped greatly. And maybe a lot of people are not familiar with that, but let's say we open on the computer and after 30 minutes and we're not in this flow state already. In my opinion, the brainwaves are already cancelled and it's so much harder to get back into it. So one of the easier things is to just keep the brainwaves, and that's perfect with reading. And I realized the longer I read in the morning before drinking my first coffee and get into the ultimate flow state zone, it triggers the most when I get my coffee. And that's one of the best tips I can give you. Start reading a book when you wake up. So another crucial thing what I'm doing every morning after the thing, and it's actually exactly like this rhythm. So it's really like waking up, getting some sunlight viewing, start to read a book, and while I'm reading a book, I mostly get myself a warm tea. The reason for that is it helps to warm up the body. It still relaxes you. It's nothing like which can spike any dopamine or whatsoever. Or like, let's say, spike dopamine is fine, but like it's nothing too crazy. It's nothing what destroys your brainwaves. So a nice cup of tea with reading a book is a great thing to do before starting to get actually into work. That's kind of like my morning setup. Getting some sunlight, read a book, drink a tea. If it's warmer outside, you can also sit outside and get some sunlight viewing, which is probably better, which I will do when it's getting warmer. But I think it's like 3 degrees outside, so we probably doubt doing it. So let's enjoy our tea. One of the most crucial things every morning is it is so important for me is seriously to have an adjustable table. Since I bought the thing, I think it's over a year ago, or maybe it's 2 years ago. It literally changed my life. Like standing in the morning while working does not only help with your back or something, it generally also brings you more in this flow state, and it's kind of not like it is nice for the first thing, and also you can concentrate better. Like you can do a lot of stretching, you can like move around or something, but kind of you feel more free while you're sitting. I don't know, your organs, everything is like folding together, which is not really that nice. But like really standing while working is probably a bad thing. Also, as Ryan Doris is saying, he recommends 50% standing while working, 25% walking, which probably would be a treadmill here, and the other 25% is sitting. And I can totally agree with that, because since I started using an adjustable table to work in the morning, I would say it also changed my life. So if you want to get into this flow state easily, seriously invest into an adjustable table. They're not too expensive. You can get most of them already, like a smaller one for 200. This one is around 600. So definitely try this out. For the fifth thing, I would actually recommend taking a cold shower. I'm not doing this every day, which I'm telling, because sometimes like I feel like annoyed to take a shower in the morning because just like need to change all the clothes, and then I could just also work in this time. But when I do it, it does feel great. It helps with dopamine and everything. And it also helps to concentrate better. But sometimes when I'm like start working already really early, read a book or something, I'm already kind of in the flow. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't really need to take a shower right now. But it does feel great and it does help you. I'm not doing it right now because then I needed to change all the clothes. I have some B-roll that I will put over to here. So while I'm taking this cold shower or a cold plunge. But I need to say what I realized was a cold plunge in the morning, which I tried to include into my routine, is first of all, I need to drive somewhere, like to a lake. It's just 5 minutes or 10. But in my opinion, it's also something which disrupt my flow state in the morning, because I need to get out of the house. I need to do a lot of stuff, need to pack my stuff together, go there, jump in the water, jump out and everything, jump out. Yeah, go out. And for example, when I'm coming back home, because I do a lot of fasting to not get like brain fog or anything, I get really cold. Like my feet are not really warming up that well from the cold plunge. I think when you're doing a cold plunge, it's great to move or something, or you eat something afterwards because your body kind of like needs fuel. But especially when you're drinking coffee, which dehydrates your body, I also feel I'm getting more cold because it is also dehydrating my body. The salt so far also haven't really helped. So for me, cold plunges in the morning, just after waking up, does not really help that well, because after when I work 4 to 6 hours, I tend to feel really, really cold, which is not really a nice feeling. So I tend to do it more in the afternoon, or like maybe like in between the break. But a cold shower is pretty easy to do. It's like 5 to 10 minutes. I have a bit more difficult setup to take the shower more easily. So I mean, it's downstairs. It's cold in this room, and we don't have it here. Um, but it is something which I really like and which is really do, but I'm not always doing it because it's not something which changes my life or something, which is, wow, it's so mind blowing that I need to do it. I'm not need to do it. So it is something extra I'm sometimes doing, and sometimes it feels good to do it. So sometimes in the morning, my hair are really messed up, so I need to take a shower, especially when I want to film. Today I kind of put just like some wax inside, and it kind of worked after like 5 minutes of waking. So that's something which I would recommend, but you don't need to do it. So another thing what I would recommend everyone is do fasting in the morning. Just don't eat anything. Tea is fine, coffee is fine, um, salt is fine, or salt and potassium with magnesium is totally fine. Yeah, but just don't eat anything. Since I included, like, okay, I do fasting for like many years already, so it's nothing new which I realized, but I realized when I don't eat something in the morning and then, for example, get coffee on an empty stomach, it helped me so much more to concentrate. And always after I eat, whatever it is, it can also be ketogenic. Like with ketogenic, it's still kind of fine, but everything disrupts my flow state. So the best thing is, as long as possible, I try to not eat anything. So sometimes it's till 12 because I need to eat at 12 because I have to train in the afternoon. But sometimes I also do it until 1 or 2 p.m. because I just stay in the flow state the whole time, and coffee kind of brings me that far. So for me, it's really important to not eat anything in the morning, and it's something which I don't want to change, and I really feel great not eating in the morning, and my work is so much better. My brain feels so much more fresh. I feel so much more, my connections in my brain are so much faster and better and whatsoever. So I mean, it makes sense. If you want to eat something, your body needs to work and digest it and whatsoever. So, for example, if you consume sugars, it spikes insulin. Insulin will fall down the higher it spikes. It then brings you into a state of like tiredness. And with keto, this does not happen. You're still in your safe zone, I would say. But the problem is your body still needs to digest, and it's still kind of something what disrupts your body. So the best thing is to not eat at all in the morning. Get your salt, which is totally fine. Get a tea, get a coffee, black, no sugar, no milk, nothing, and get to work. And the last advice to get into this flow state as best and fast as possible is after 90 minutes, drinking your first cup of coffee. Okay, I don't have a coffee right now because it's still too early while filming this video, and I just don't want to like do something in between just to wait to just drink a coffee, which is kind of like stupid. But yeah, so I just drink my tea. But the easiest thing is to just get your black coffee, whatever it is. If you like espresso, if you like a black normal coffee, if you like whatever. I'm using a Vietnamese coffee, which is kind of like a drip version. Do like a hybrid version and keep it as a how do you call it, French press. And after French press, I filter it again, so it's kind of super smooth and it's super nice. But yeah, that's like, if you drink this coffee, like for me, and also as Ryan Doris is saying, it's probably the most craziest flow state drug you can consume, because it just boosts your brain up, your dopamine is going up, and if you combine it with all the things before drinking your first cup of coffee, as I'm doing, with everything before as a perfect routine every morning, and then you get your cup of coffee, trust me, it will blow your mind in a way that your work is so crazy and focused that you never want to change your morning routine. And that's how I discovered it. Since over a year I'm doing it, and my work performance, I think, minimum tripled than before. And I felt before that I was like, okay, well, something doesn't really work. I have concentration issues. Since I'm having this morning routine, I'm so concentrated. My work results are so much better, and I get into this flow state all the time. So please do me a favor. Do Ryan Doris a favor with the flow state research collection and try this routine. it will change your life. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you like it, if there's any other ways how I can present or something, I'm always trying to make my videos better. So I would be super happy if someone is giving me a feedback, how I can make it better. It's my first videos on YouTube. I mean, not my first, I have a second account, but in this way, it's my first video. So please give me any feedback if there's a possibility. Leave me any comments. I'm also super curious how you're changing your routines, how you have different things. So leave it down in the comments and see you guys in my next video. Bye. Perfect temperature now.